Alright, so in this video, I'm going to teach you how to desolder electrical components from a PCB board. Right, so I'm going to show you a couple different methods using the solder suction pump and how to use the desoldering wick, as well as how a hot air station can help you out. As I go along, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that I've learned that sort of help the process. So let's get started.
Let's start out taking a look at desoldering wick. So when you choose a wick, you want the wick to be about the same size as the solder being removed, and you want to use a soldering iron tip that's about the same size as your soldering wick. Make sure that you use appropriate flux when you're desoldering. Next, you're going to want to use a flat soldering iron tip if possible, and you're going to want to maximize contact with the wick by angling the iron. In other words, you want to have as much of the hot iron touching the wick as possible. Make sure you clean your soldering iron tip before you try to desolder anything, and remove the tip and the wick at the same time so that the soldering wick doesn't get stuck on the board. When you've done everything correctly and you get enough heat transfer onto the braid, I'm going to go ahead and even add a little bit of solder here to get some extra heat transfer on the other side of the solder wick. And what you'll see is that that solder in that through hole is going to get wicked away, and we'll be able to remove it using our solder wick. So once we remove our solder wick, both at the same time, you can see that we've cleaned out that through hole. Now, if you're having trouble removing solder from a through hole, it's most likely because you're not able to heat it up hot enough. Now, that's probably happening because either, one, your soldering iron tip may be too small and the temperature may be too low, so consider changing the size of your tip and the temperature. You could add some flux to remove oxidation and increase heat transfer. This may be counterintuitive, but you could also add solder back into the hole, and this will act as a bridge for heat. So if you're having trouble, if you've removed a little bit of the solder from the through hole and now you're having trouble getting that last bit, you may actually need to go back in and add additional solder. That'll create a bridge for heat to transfer to that other solder and then allow it to get wicked away. One thing you can do is actually cut your wick into smaller pieces, and this helps reduce the amount of heat that you have to put into the wick. And the last tip is if you need additional heat transfer between your soldering iron and the wick, you can add solder in between the wick and the iron, and this will create thermal linkage between those two things and allow heat to transfer better. Okay, so now that we talked about the wick, let's look at the soldering pump or solder sucker. I highly recommend you get a really good solder sucker if you're going to do this. This one is awesome and I recommend it. So what you need to do to start out with is just bring in some flux so that you remove oxidation and also allow a little bit extra heat transfer with the flux. And you're going to bring in your soldering iron. And as you melt that solder, then you're going to try to get a good seal between your solder sucker or solder pump, and you're just going to hit the button on your pump, and that's going to suck up the solder, and you want to try to remove that as much as you can from the hole there. In some cases, you might come in here with your solder pump and you try to remove the solder, but you just miss and you don't get a good seal. Now, if you do this, you can try to reheat the solder, try again, but you can always go back, add a little solder, maybe a little bit more flux if you need to. So here you can see we went ahead and came back in and we're able to get that solder out. Now here's a hot air gun, and there's a couple different hot air stations you can have, but these are really nice to have if you're going to do any rework. And I don't do a ton of rework, so I just have this one. It's a pretty basic one. And what you're able to do is actually bring in hot air that'll warm up the entire PCB board. So you do have to be really careful with the components on your PCB board, especially plastic components, components that are heat sensitive. Set the temperature on this hot air station and blow the hot air onto your PCB board, and you can get a lot of heat this way, and it makes melting the solder a lot easier, right? Here you can see us bring in the hot air to warm up the PCB board and the solder, and use our iron as well to transfer heat onto the wick, so we can use a combination to get that to really easily melt. You can also use this in combination with the solder sucker, so I'll go ahead and just add in some solder here to these through holes, and I'm going to bring in my solder sucker right now and take that solder out real quick. All right, so it's a very easy way to get heat and to help you keep the heat onto the board. The biggest thing with these is you got to make sure you're very careful not to overheat components or overheat your board because you can do damage. You always want to make sure that you pick up any PCB board or components with tweezers first because they're going to be very hot after you use the hot air station. All right, next what we're going to do is actually take what we've learned and apply it to the temperature simulator and use what we know to remove the main potentiometer off of the temperature simulator. So here you can see we're bringing in our solder pump and we're removing as much of the solder around those pins as we can. Here you can see it from another angle where I've gone ahead and removed most of the solder around that pin on the right side. And now we're going to go ahead and remove as much as we can from our other pins. For the third pin, I'm going to go ahead and use the wick to remove the solder. And I'm just going to make sure I put that wick against the pin. I'm going to gently apply pressure and make sure I angle my iron so that it heats up the wick. And I'm even going to bring in a little bit of extra solder to increase my thermal heat transfer and try to wick away as much of that solder from that pin as I can. And I'm going to slowly move my wick down, allowing the new wick to pull away solder from the pin. It's a bit hard to see at that angle, but I'm going to try and angle this so that you can see how much solder has been removed from the pins. There we go. So you can see that most of the solder has been removed off of those pins. I'm going to try to wiggle this potentiometer out very gently and carefully. Don't want to pull the pins out. Don't want to pull the pads out of the board either. All right, so those I never soldered, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure those can come out. Now, I'm still feeling a little bit of resistance on my potentiometer, so I'm going to go ahead and try and use the wick on this other side. I can see some solder still stuck in the hole on the top right, and try to just remove as much solder as I can. Once I do that, I'm going to gently try to take it out, and there we go. Now I have my potentiometer out, and I'm going to be able to put my new 5K potentiometer in when I go to create my combination temperature simulator. So if you want to learn how to make the combination temperature simulator, let's check out the next video.